we now have Tahr as of today in Te Awaroa. Hey guys, we're back here on the Hunter Call of the Wild, and today is the day that the update drops, bringing Tahr to Te Awaroa, so we can now grind for the Great One Tahr on 2 maps, Sundar Patan and here in Te Awaroa. So today we're going to be doing a full Great One guide. Today we're going to go through everything you need to do in order to spawn that Great One Tahr here in Te Awaroa. The other thing I'm going to share with you towards the end of the video is a hotspot map showing you exactly where all of my Tahr zones are here in Te Awaroa. And no, you do not have to find all of them. Now, before we head into it, let me know in the comments what your dream Tahr Great One is. And somewhere in the video, I am going to share a key phrase. Drop that in the comments for your chance to win a 1-month membership to the channel. Okay, first thing we're going to do is pull out a weapon. So for my loadout, while I am setting up, what I'm actually carrying with me is only one weapon. Today we're using the new Hansen 30-06, which is good from classes 4 to 8. And I am carrying with me tents and tripods. Of course, I do have my Apex View binoculars. Don't need nighttime binoculars. I'm using the Odin scope. And of course, I do have the 30-06 ammo. And that is everything that I am carrying. Now, I do not have the pack mule skill. If you do have the pack mule skill, you'll definitely be able to carry another weapon or two. And this is my loadout when I am done setting up for the grind. So I do change my weapons. I will then carry the 300, my favorite class 4 to 8 for right now. I am using the new Hansen 30-06 and the Quist Reaper in case we do find a sweet chamois. Now, I like to grind with the Arzina. I do shoot the trophies, of course, with a class 4 to 8 rifle. That will stop us from having to do a lot of tracking. And the only difference is I then am not carrying tripods. I am still carrying tents. Okay, so let's splatter a couple of Tahr. Now, Tahr feed a lot. They feed from 4 to 7, 7 to 11, 14 to 17, and 17 to 20. So what I did was when I headed out to look for zones, well, I guess it was between 7 and 11 a.m. and I started to find that feed zone time. So that is all that I searched for. I didn't worry about any of the other time frames, and I'm completely set up on the 7 to 11 feed zone time. And that is one of the only feed zone times that is 4 hours long. Most of the other ones are 3 hours. Now, it doesn't really matter how long the feed zone time is because I always set the time for the last hour of the zone time. And the reason for that is so that they have the greatest chance of being in their zones. Now let's splatter a couple nice males here. That's 1. And that should be 2. And yes, it was. And splat. Beautiful! Now, the one benefit to doing the grind here in Te Awaroa as opposed to in Sundar Patan is, well, there's a couple things that are better here. The scenery is stunning. I mean, it's beautiful in Sundar Patan as well, but it is more wide open here for the most part. So the first thing you want to do when setting up your grind is find your zones. While you're doing this, I would highly recommend carrying tents and tripods on you and setting up at the same time. Now, whether you shoot Himalayan Tahr while you are setting up or not is completely up to you. If you are going to shoot, the only thing I would highly recommend is that you do go back and check for respawns if it is a zone that you are not setting up on. Now, the Tahr grind is one of the grinds where finding your zones is really not that hard. It's really easy to see them if you get right on the top of any of these ridges. Spend a lot of time really spotting around and you will find a lot of zones doing that. Now, there's actually 2 different ways you can set up for this grind. You can literally shoot from the top of a mountain range at all kinds of different zones from a long distance. You'd be doing a lot of 300-meter shots, or you can set up like me, and I have just set up the traditional way, dropping my tent about 230 meters back from the zone, dropping my tripod within 200 meters. I like to 0 to 150 and shoot 2 males from each zone. Now, the reason you don't want to shoot more than 2, you never want to shoot a zone down to 1 animal. If you do that, that zone will never get respawns. Essentially, that breaks the zone. And when you shoot more than 2, there is a greater chance of them jumping out to exteriors if you are doing a herd managed grind. And we have a gold, red, brown, very sweet. They pay about $1,000 each, so you definitely should make some cash while doing this grind. And this is a good opportunity to talk about their rares. So red brown is the only common fur variation. This is a light brown, and this is a straw. Those are the 2 uncommon fur variations. I think the straw is really pretty. And And then their rears include red. This is a red, white. And I actually got this white on the beta here in Te Awaroa. Crazy stuff. Black. Now I seem to spawn, or at least I did while I was in Sundar Patan, I spawned a pile of whites and blacks. Now they have the same spawn rate as all of the rares except for albino. Albino is the only very rare fur variation for the Tahr, and they're now actually called Himalayan Tahr with this update. So then there is also dark red and dark brown. So there are 5 rare fur variations and 1 very rare. And I actually shot this dark brown on last night's early access stream. Now, as far as the Great One Tahr goes, there are 7 variations of the Great One Tahr that we have the chance to spawn. So let's go through those right now. Okay, so this is the Fabled Gold, and this is one of my Tahr Great Ones. Currently, I have spawned 2. The first one took 3,381 kills, and the second one took 28 kills, and this is the one that spawned in 28 kills. I hadn't even shot the first one yet when this guy showed up on the map, and the Fabled half is stunning. Then we have a Fabled Gray. Now I took these beautiful scorecards from my Discord. This is the Fabled Latte. Now as we go through these, let me know which of these is your favorite in the comments below. This is the Fabled Scar, and that looks pretty cool. This is the Fabled Skull. I gotta have a skull at some point. They are so cool. And the Fabled Snow, and that is a stunning one as well. It's really hard to pick a favorite, isn't it? So those are the 7 Tahr Himalayan Tahr Great One fur variations. Now, while we're going through the information for Tahr, they are a class 4 species, so you can hunt them with any class 4 to 8 rifle. You are going to see a pile of chamois while you are doing the Tahr grind, so it might be a good idea to carry the Quist on you or something that is good for class 3 species. I have already shot a diamond chamois while setting up the Tahr grind. I had such a hard time getting my first diamond chamois. It was one of the last diamonds I need to have every diamond in the game. Just about killed myself, and then the second one just appeared. Wasn't even looking for it. Isn't that the way? Now, diamond for Tahr is 101.87. They do troll a fair bit, and their max weight is 140 kilograms or 308 pounds. Now, the max weight for a Great One Himalayan Tahr is 180 kilograms or 397 pounds. Now, here's a little bit of advice with regards to hunting with your dog. While you are doing the Tahr grind in the mountains here in Te Awaroa, you might as well put your dog away because the dog just cannot navigate through the mountains. So most of the time, my dog is 300 or 400 meters away. He will not come when I call him. There's just absolutely no point in using your dog to find your kills while you are doing the Tahr grind here in Te Awaroa. So I'm going to go put my dog away. Actually, I'm going to keep him with me for a minute just to show you what he does while we're out here. Now, I did take some footage of me while I was searching for my zones, so let's have a look at that right now. Okay, we're gonna set up on this zone, but I have been noticing that Tahr zones are not attaching to the map. I have no zone, and it says that they are all feeding. It's gonna make doing this grind tough when you don't know where your zones are. Anyway, I am gonna set up on this zone, and then it won't be a problem. Found another zone right here. That is where we are, and I was lucky enough to drop a tent on the mountain here. So now I'm going down to try and drop a tripod. Should be interesting. I like to drop it from about 200 meters, but anytime now would be fine. Come on, you can do it. Saw it a second ago. Come on. Oh, got it. Yes. Beautiful. All right, let's see if we can take this 4. Want to go check the need zone indicator. If it only has 3, then we can't set up on it. Then I got to pull this. This is the Quist. Not a great angle. We'll put 2 shots and he went splat. Okay. What's happening? What's happening? Uh-oh. I'm flying. I'm like, I have no friction. This is not good. Okay, well, probably if this is a good zone, would be a good idea to put a tent down there. Probably. Well, would you look at this? There is another Tahr coming in. He's calm, so I don't think he's returning. I think that's another one from this zone. So, might have just shot him in the face, but as long as he goes splat, means we're getting a respawn. And splat. Beautiful. Okay, so this zone is a zone of 5, so zone will do just fine. And we know there are at least 2 males. There is the first one, and there's the second shot from 208 meters. Might as well get a head start on our Great One grind and take 2 out of this zone. Beautiful. And the first shot was no good, but the second one was. So I just set up on this zone right here. This is where we are on the map. So I have put my tent back here, about 135 meters from where I am, and then the zone is 160 meters, so my tent is close to 300 meters back. But I'm actually going to be using this tent for this zone and for this zone over here. So it works out very well that I can put it there. Anytime you can double up the use of a tent, it's definitely what you want to do. So let's test this zone out. Okay, so this is the Quist. Beautiful. And we got 2. Awesome. So unfortunately, we don't have enough pickup tents, or tents to have pickup tents is what I meant to say. So we have to run our little keisters over to pick up our kills. It won't kill us. Annoying. Okay. And there he is. There's our level 4 gold. 94.05 is a pretty nice one. He needs to come back as the Great One. Wouldn't that be delightful? I know. I'm off living in Fantasyland once again. I like living there. And a double lung shot from the Quist from 185 meters. That Quist is not a wimpy rifle. Not at all. All right. So now let's go back to the tent. We need to set up on this zone. Okay, well, the Tahr are not in this zone. I probably spooked them when I dropped this tent. That's okay. We can still set up. So there's the zone. I'm about 180 meters with my tripod, and the tent is 100 meters back from me. So it's about 280 meters back. That'll work perfectly fine. So that is a pretty sweet way to set up, and I actually might drop a tent over here as a pickup tent, because we are sharing 2 zones with 1 tent, and I always allocate 1 tent per zone at the beginning of my grinds. You don't have to set up on every zone you find. What I would recommend doing is maybe setting up on like 12 zones. You do have to wait a certain amount of time for respawns, so setting up on fewer zones might be futile. Now, other areas where you will find Tahr zones. So I am now on the top part of the map. Now, I just have a tent there so that I can run in all directions. That's not actually for a zone. So I was able to put a tent right in the middle and use it for 2 zones. Unfortunately, I could not put a pickup tent because the land is just too hilly. I just can't put a tent. Not possible. So definitely check in that area. Now, sometimes you will get solo zones. Do not set up on a solo zone. Anytime you shoot a solo zone, that is going to delete the zone, and it will appear somewhere else on the map. And the next time you come back to grind that zone, it will be gone. So do not set up on any solo zones. So right there. Now we're going to go up here. So I have 2 really good zones right there. So I'm set up right on the top of the mountain. Let me show you this zone. Look at the view from up here. Now, I have tripods way down there. If I want to shoot from up here, I mean, 350 meters is pretty nuts. I don't even think they're there. But I can run down to my tripod and then take a 200-meter shot. I can still see them clear as day. And then I do have another zone over here, and they're so far away from the other zone. Right now, I have chamois and no Tahr in their zones. There they are. And I do have a tripod up here for this other zone. So we'll definitely be taking some very long-range shots from this tripod. But it's so nice to be able to have such wide open zones. It makes it very easy to shoot them. That is for sure. So that's how I'm set up over here. Then in this area, lots and lots of zones, all kinds of chamois and Tahr. Basically, you want to check around all of the mountain ridges, all of them. So there's one there, this one here, down here, this one right here. Anyway, there will be a hotspot map shortly. Now, this zone down here, I don't even need to use a tent. I actually go into this outpost, run over to the tripod, and shoot them in this zone right here. Okay, I just counted it, and I am currently set up on 10 zones, and that is working for me. So somewhere between 10 and 12 zones should be good, and once you are set up, it is time to start the grind. And so I just set the time to, I've been setting it for 9:30. The zone goes to 11. That gives me an hour and a half, which is plenty of time. Then I shoot the 2 biggest males from each zone, and whenever I am able to, I do drop a pickup tent with the excess tents. The maximum amount of tents you can put down on any map is 16, so that gives you 6 extra tents as pickup tents. I'm not going to bother with herd managing my Tahr grind. too much for me. I'm gonna set up on these 10 zones, shoot the 2 biggest males, and keep trucking. But I will be coming out with a guide on how to herd manage on the Great One Tahr grind in Te Awaroa with iBuy premiums, and that should be out very soon. But let's have a look at that hotspot map. Okay, so I have set up on the 7 to 11 feed zone time. That is the only time I searched my map, and these are all of the feed zones that I have found for that time frame. Now, you won't have exactly the same zones that I do, but they should be very similar. Definitely check in those areas, and that should help you to find your feed zones in Te Awaroa. Remember to get to the highest peaks and absolutely scour your surroundings. You will find a lot of zones by doing that. Now, I will post this map to my Discord along with all of my other hotspot maps, where you will find a map for every species in the game. So there you have it. That is how to spawn a Great One Himalayan Tahr here in Te Awaroa. And if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and splat that like button. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this. And as always, thank you so much for watching.